Good morning, y'all. I am back and ready to do another Tuesday tally. My buddy, Mr. Skelly, here is ready to get back in his box. He's been taken down. Halloween was fun. We did not get very many kids this year, but I'm fine by that because I wanted to go to bed early anyway. So it worked out pretty good. Um, I'm going to just go ahead and get this Tuesday tally going. I'll start walking around the yard and let's see what's going on out here. As always, I'm going to start on this corner, and of course, it needs some work. But I've been busy working in the yard, trying to get things wrapped up before we head out of town. So this has really not been my priority because there are visible weeds, but it's just really not that bad that I needed to spend a whole lot of time on it. The garlic in this bed, they are still coming up slower than the other bed. I'll show you those when I get around to the other side, but they are coming up. These were some of the smaller cloves, so not really expecting to get a whole lot of production out of them. I just wanted to see what they're going to do. And of course, there's always some weeds to pull over here because this side is really ignored. It's the west side of the house and it's just so darn hot over here all the time. You can see the Alternanthera rebounded well from its severe drought that it was going through last week. I watered it about 3 or 4 times before the end of the day to get it back into some life. And it did rain. We got a good rain, maybe 2 days this past week. So it's not suffering this week. Not too bad, not too bad. You see this bed still has some weeds growing in it. This was a mum that I relocated from the corner, and it seems to be taken to its transplant pretty good. I just need to really get in here and get the weeds out of here. But because it is cooling off, these weeds aren't growing back quite as fast as they would any other time of the year. We are not getting daily rain. So again, a section that I wasn't really paying a whole lot of attention to. I had some bigger fish to fry in other parts of the yard. Oh, is that my yard waste guy? Sounds like him. I just got some yard waste out there. The beauty berry was cut back really hard and you can see it's pushing some new growth. It's not doing too bad. The triangle is doing pretty good, even though it's been exposed to a little bit more sun. These don't really like to have a whole lot of direct sun on them. It does get some west sun, but it's not burning, so I think it's protected well enough. Not a whole lot going on over here. I need to really get in here and do some trimming. I don't think I'll have time to do it before I go out of town, but I do need to get to it. So maybe that'll be the first thing that I do when I get back in town. Focus on getting hedges trimmed and finish pulling weeds on this side. We've got a lot of ageratum growing in the grass, which is very annoying because it's a native here and it grows out of control. But I'm not going to worry about it. The lawn guys come through and mow every week, so I don't care. Everything transplanted here is still adjusting, not doing bad. I've got one of the drift roses that it's got a little bit of dieback. I'll come in and I'll trim that back, but everything that's been trimmed so far is pushing new growth, so I'm not upset with that. This poor guy, I don't know if he's going to survive, but I do see some new leaves coming in. I'm going to wait and see. No rushing, no rushing. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if we got some okra. I've been watching this okra. So I do have a couple here that'll have to come off before we leave town. These guys up here are growing really, really slow. So I don't know if we'll even get to those. This one will be ready before we leave town. We've gotten quite a bit of okra off of these plants. Not too bad. And of course the green stalk is being the green stalk. I did pull some beans off of this over the weekend and just kind of got them in the fridge waiting for the rest to be harvested before I cook them up. So I don't know, maybe by the time we come back I'll have some more ready to come off. Right now I've got quite a few flowers and not very many pods, so we'll see. Oh no, I just stepped on a daylily. I don't know why this daylily likes to throw its flowers down at the bottom, but it's a really pretty lily. And looks like I got some more coming in here. These were transplanted also from the other side over where all of the weeds are that I need to pull. Don't seem like they were affected. I need to wind my hose up. We've got some blooms on the drift rose. It's doing pretty good from its little trim. I didn't cut it back too hard, but it was enough. It was enough. I think we can get through the rest of fall and into winter. The sweet potato vine I did a little bit of work on also. That's a never-ending story. The strawberry plants are all doing good. It looks like I did lose that one. That one that was struggling seems like it's gone, and that's really not bad for all the strawberries that I put in there. I need to do some more trimming on this rose. But for all the strawberries that I put in this pot, it's not too bad that I lost one. I can always move one of the ones that's on the top into that side pocket, but I probably won't even worry about it. It's just not that critical. We did plant some peas in the hanging baskets here. So by the time we come back, we should be seeing some growth on those. Sweet potato vine, of course, needs a little bit more trimming down at the bottom. It's been a couple days since I trimmed it, so it's rebounding. It always gets upset with me. Got a lot of cleaning up to do down here in this licorice plant. Of course, the mulberry is dropping its leaves, so it's not something that I'm itching to do, because as soon as I pick them up, there's more leaves to come, and I'm not going to rake these leaves up. These are my fertilizer for next year, so I'll let them stay. So more on the green stalk from this side, because I've got the hose connected and I can't spin it all the way. And I don't use the green stalk watering system. I just hooked it up to my own drip and put a couple of elbows on there just to bring the water up and into the green stalk. I didn't see a need to spend the money on their system. The tomatoes that are in here are growing nice. We pulled quite a few radishes out. We had a really good salad. I trimmed, you'll see when I get over to the Swiss chard, I trimmed a lot of the Swiss chard off and we made a salad. Added a little bit of romaine that we had purchased a couple days ago that needed to get used up, and that Swiss chard and some of these radish greens was a delicious salad. You can see quite a few beans in here that will get pulled before we leave. They're not quite big enough right now for my liking, but all of these bean plants are producing well. More weeds. There's always Ruellia that's popping up. This bed was planted with Ruellia by the builder, and one of my neighbors next door took all of hers out. We took all of ours out, and my neighbor on the other side, I'll show you, they still have all of theirs. So even if I get all of this up, it'll never stop coming up in my yard because my neighbor has a ton of it and the roots go everywhere. I transplanted some of the mustard greens into this bed. So by the time I come back, I'm expecting those to be much bigger, much bigger. They survived the first couple days of transplanting, so I think they're going to be fine. They've all put on a lot of growth since I've put them in here. They were really, really puny looking things with barely any true leaves on them. This one actually still only has cotyledons there. So there's a few plants in there. That's 3 that were in one cell. Most of these had 2 in a cell, and I separated some. So you'll see a few of them only have 1 plant in the cell. But as these things grow up, because the mustards get so big, I don't know that I'll thin them. I'll just let them kind of do what they need to do. There is one mustard. Let me see if I can turn it around in the green stalk. There is this one mustard that was a puny little thing when I put it in here. We have taken several leaves off of this plant, and the guinea pigs have enjoyed it. The next harvest that I do on, I'll probably take these off and give these to them today because they're so big, but we've got some new leaves coming in down here. The next mustard harvest is probably going to be for us. I can't give the guineas all of the food. My husband is already saying that I only grow food for the guineas, and that's not true. I grow it for us too. It's just that when it's just a little bit, I don't see the point in trying to save it, freeze it, and all of that good stuff. So I pulled out a lot of these ferns a couple weeks back, maybe about a month or 2 ago, and you can see that these guys are super happy back here. I do have a crocodile fern that's not doing well back here. I mean, it's in shade. I don't know why it doesn't like it. It's a pretty moist area. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on there. I've never grown a crocodile fern, so I wanted to try it out, and the guy at the nursery convinced me. He's like, just do it, you'll love it. So we got some healthy leaves back here, but the ones at the front, and I don't know if this is just a natural process of the plant expanding and leaves dying off. I'm gonna have to check on that, but I really did like the texture on these leaves, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll put this in. I thought they were pretty. Stupid Ruellia here in my picture, but the crocodile fern is doing okay. We've got some blooms on the Vanda again. I'm always happy to show you guys that. This Vanda has been very happy since I moved it outside, growing and blooming several times a year. Let's move on. There's not a whole lot to see out here. Garden is just getting waken up. So it's not a whole lot to see right now. I got some lettuce seeds that I started in this trough, and I need to just figure out where I'm going to put it. It's really a window box, but I don't have any windows with a window box on them, so I don't like to call it a window box because I don't use it in that application. But those are all black seeded Simpson lettuces, and I'll grow those for baby greens. I won't let any of those get full size, so they are really close together, and I just like it like that. We've got some blossoms. Maybe we'll get some fruit. We got blossoms everywhere. I don't know if I can get it in focus because I'm in the shade and the plant is out in the sun, but we've got blossoms. And I can't tell you what plant this is. It's one of the pears, but I don't know which one because all of my tags have worn off. And we've got the 2 of them here, and we'll see. If I get some fruit, then I'll figure out which one it is. Phalaenopsis gigantea here is doing pretty good, pushing some new leaves. So I guess I'll get it to bloom again this year. It bloomed nicely for me last year. That's an encyclia. I'm not sure which one, but it blooms well. You can see all of the bloom stalks on it. It bloomed very well for me this year. More weeds. Trichoglottis is still blooming. I'll show you from the other side, but we can still see the trichoglottis is still blooming. Ageratum everywhere. I pull these things out and they grow right back. So from this side, there's not a whole lot going on. I do have some new growth going on. This little Vanda, you can see that tiny little growth right there behind the root. So it's not dying, and I'm okay with that. Just let it do what it's gonna do. It's such a nice, windy, breezy day, guys. It feels great out here. I wish I could stay out all day, but I really don't have the time to do it. I've got so much to get done before we head out of town. I'll just show you a quick view of the seedlings. The lettuce tower is still struggling. I do have a couple that I transplanted that haven't died off yet, but this tower has been giving me a lot of trouble in this last couple of weeks. I've transplanted like 3 times now in it. I think I'm gonna have to take all of the soil out and put all new soil. I think that's the problem that I'm having, because I did refresh the soil, but I didn't take it all completely out. I added new soil, mixed it all up, fertilized it, and gave it some worm castings and put it all back in with, I guess, about a 50-50 mix of old soil and new soil. I think it's the soil. I'm going to find out in these next coming weeks, because I do have some new lettuces that I reseeded that I'm going to try to transplant again. And then I'll immediately start some new lettuce seeds. In fact, I'll probably start those new lettuce seeds tonight, because I've got some empty seed trays that I'll just go ahead and start some new lettuces, because the ones that I started before, I'll try to get them in here. It could just be that it's still too warm and the lettuces aren't truly happy yet. So when I transplant them, they shock and I lose them. So we'll see. I still need to get I believe this is the plum cot. I need to get it back out into the peninsula. We moved it for Hurricane Milton and never got it back out. I mean, we're talking about almost a month ago, and this thing has been sitting here on the porch, as well as the Green Cascade Japanese maple. And you can see that it is pushing new growth. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. I need to get them back out before we leave town, because I'll need it to rain on them, because I won't be here to give them any water. But let's just take a quick look at what's going on over here on the seedling shelves. We've got some onions that I started, and it looks like most of them have come up. So this is much better than what was going on outside in the pots. I think it was still just a little bit too hot. It has cooled off a bit, but it's still rather warm. And since I started these on the lanai, they got a little bit cooler conditions, a little bit more protected. So I'm hoping that these all survive and I can go ahead and get them transplanted out into the pots that I want them to grow in. The brassicas, I've got the Alamo turnips coming up. I seeded those really, really heavy. I don't know how I'm going to separate them. I think I'm going to just have to cut them off, because I obviously can't grow that many turnips. I think it's like 5 or 6 turnips in each one of these. And I do want some of the roots, not just the leaves. Now, I could just leave them and let them grow just to get the greens from them and start some more to try to get the roots, but I don't know. I have to see what I'm going to do. I don't know why I started more mustards. I obviously don't need this many mustards because there's such a tangy flavor. We don't use a whole lot of them. I do like to mix them with other greens when I cook them, but that's a lot of mustards. But then again, the guineas will eat them. So none of the beans have come up yet. I just started these the other day, so I'm guessing probably by the end of the day tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll start seeing some of the beans coming up. I've got some kohlrabi here that did not get transplanted. I have not checked on the transplants in the greenhouse yet. I'm kind of terrified because I mixed that soil and I really saturated it because I didn't run the drip in there like I said I was going to do. And I'm really, really scared that I'm going to get some root rot in there because that soil is so wet. And we're just not getting hot enough for that soil to dry out really, really fast. We got some zinnias here. I did lose a few of my zinnias because I forgot to water them. And I restarted them. So these are the ones that I already had started. And then the ones that, like this one, and then I reseeded some of the ones that have a plant in them. So I'm just waiting on those to germinate. I've got some more lettuce that I reseeded. For some reason, the Red Velvet, the Little Gem, and the Grand Rapids are not germinating for me. And I don't know why. Those are all brand new packets of seeds. They just aren't germinating. So I've started them again for the 4th time. Hopefully, like I said, it's cool enough now that they will go ahead and germinate. All of the other lettuces, every single time I seed them, they germinate well. So I don't know. I don't know what it is with those. Maybe they just really don't like the heat, or they just, I mean, but what's the chances of me getting 3 packs of bad seed? I mean, it's not adding up for me. I don't know. We will see what happens. I transplanted, like I said, a lot of the brassicas out and put them into the greenhouse. We've got some more mesclun here that I will get moved out when we come back. I'm not in any kind of rush to get these out because I've got a lot of lettuce kind of all over the place tucked in, and I'm not really sure where I'm going to grow it. Kind of thinking I want to finish cleaning out the peninsula and just pop some of them in the ground and see how they do. But I do have a couple of bunnies who live in the yard, and I'm kind of scared about that. More flowers I started, waiting on them to germinate. Just got those started the other day. So we'll see what happens with these things. Got an orchid that's still blooming here. This is one of the Nadusas, and I'm not sure which one. This is a Nadusa cordata cross. This one is called Little Stars. And this is the best bloom that it's done for me. This one's got quite a few flowers on it. And kind of happy about that because this poor thing was struggling when the virus came through here. So I was a little bit worried. So for it to put off, you know, what do I have right now? 5 active blooms, and I did have a few other ones that have already fallen off, and it's pushing new growth. So it's doing okay. It's doing okay. My very sad orchid collection is trying to survive. We will see what happens. I need to get through, I don't know. We've got, my Orchid Society does its orchid show in late January, early February. Usually by, what's the holiday in February? I don't celebrate it because it's my birthday all month. Valentine's Day. Usually by Valentine's Day, we're doing our orchid show. I did not participate last year. I didn't want to buy anything because I had that virus going through. So we will see what happens this year. More seedlings up top that I got started. I did lose some of the tomatoes and I reseeded some of the tomatoes. So I had that problem of over 40 tomato seedlings, and when I up potted them, I lost some of them. Because why not? Why not lose some? When you complain about having too many, you get punished by losing them. All right, let's do a little walking now. The mums are still a delightful little color pop in this collection of weeds. They're weeds. I mean, if I go in and I pull out the grass, you probably wouldn't notice so much that they're weeds. They would look like some strange plant that I put in, but they're weeds. This waffle plant seriously needs to be cut back just as well as the one on the other side does. I'm not gonna kill myself. I can't do everything. I can't do everything when I plan to do it. So I only have so much time. So yeah, I ended up not putting anything in this container yet. I need to decide what I'm gonna do. I just don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do there. I did start cleaning weeds out of here. But it's still so much more. Still so much more. Still so much more. We're still getting zinnias popping up out of this one plant, so I haven't pulled it yet, but it is so ugly. I need to take it out. But I can't take it out because every time I come out here to take it out, there's another bloom starting. Oh look, we've got some heavy hitter okra that is coming. Gotta stop waving around. Got some aphids on here. Probably blast them off. But it is producing again. Hello! I need to pick up some pots. I need to do some more trimming. I need to do some serious watering over here. We've got some weeds masquerading here, pretending to be onions. That is not an onion. This poor pot. I've been meaning to put some drip irrigation in here, and I just haven't done it. Got a drip line running right here, guys. There's no reason for me not to come out here and pop drip in it, but I just haven't. I need to remove the net on this little mini pond. And in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to cut back all of the pond plants, which I don't mind because it's just looking messy. Needs it. That is the autumn debutante azalea. I need to get a couple pictures of that. I think it's my only one with blooms. Oh, it looks like one of my other ones is starting to bloom also. So everything is kind of rebounding. More ageratum growing in the grass. Sorry about my shadow. I don't know if I can put this up. I might have to tie it to get it to stay up. I'll come out here with a tie because I don't want that to attach to my boxwood while I'm gone. I'm getting some pretty blooms on the salvia. I've been meaning to cut the salvia back before it started pushing new growth, but I failed. I got a pot full of weeds here. Doesn't matter how many times I pull those out, they grow right back. And the Swiss chard that we enjoyed eating, I left a bit on here, but I took a whole lot off. We were able to get 5 salads out of there. That ageratum, I'll probably just let it stay there. I don't mind it seeding in this spot, and it's such a pretty little bloom. I haven't gotten anything put into these pots yet. Another pot of weeds. Still haven't figured out what I want to do with this raised bed, I am probably going to end up doing some brassicas in there. I don't know. I got so many mustards. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll figure it out. The Lespedeza is coming back nicely. I can't wait for it to be tall and arching and cast a little bit of shade over here on the chairs. The azaleas. Oh, I lied. I got a couple of them pushing some blooms. The little one here has a pretty blue fly sitting on it, but it is also pushing some flowers. And this one also is pushing some flowers. I don't remember the names of these. I think they're like Sunburst and Starburst or something like that. Something weird like that. This is the other salvia that needs to be cut back. It hasn't started blooming yet, but there are some buds. There are some buds, so we'll see. I don't know why these pillows like to pile up on each other. Oh, look, the acorn opened. So I'm going to have a live oak growing somewhere. Bougainvillea is shedding. I really would like to take it out of this pot and put it into the ground, but I think this live oak is going to give me some competition to dig that hole. So I don't know if that's going to happen. You see the pillow fell over again? It's so nice and windy. I still need to do some trimming on the Durantas. This probably won't get done until I'm back in town. Still have a mess of weeds over here. There, you can see the autumn debutante better from this side. And it looks so nice against that iris. I wish I could get them to bloom at the same time. Looks like my birds need some more food. I'll stock them up. The lantana is looking thin. I will probably cut it back. It's got some new growth down at the bottom, so I'll probably do a hard cut on it. Let it push some new growth. Looks like some of my hibiscus are struggling in here, but the pentas are doing fine. I still want to get these muhly grass out because all they do is camouflage other weeds. Gardenias need some fertilizer. Oh, I didn't show you the flower. I got a cattleya blooming. Got a cattleya blooming over here, and that's the fragrant one. Can't see it from this direction, but I'm not going back over there. Birds need some bird seed. This side is looking much cleaner. It's so bright. You probably can't see anything. I need to get into this area and pull all of these weeds, and it'll look so much cleaner. But that's going to have to be a task for next week because I just don't have the time to get it done this week unless I come out here just before the sun sets and get stung by a bunch of weird creatures. The Thryallis is looking good here. I wish that this was the one in the front yard. I kept all of the weeds up during the hurricane, so this one didn't get splayed and destroyed. So I get to enjoy the blooms on that one. I was able to get the clerodendron tied up and trimmed and cleaned out around there. I did start some seeds in the tower, but I need to water it. So those have just been sitting here. The only water that they've gotten is about, I don't know, 3 minutes of rain. So I need to come through and give it a good thorough watering. I'll get to it. Harvested some beans from these plants, and I'm really enjoying the way the mums look in front of the bean plants, and that aloe sticking out the side. The chives in the back are probably 4 years old. I need to do a hard cut back on them, but I just keep forgetting to do it. The farfugium is pushing blooms. It's still getting sunburned because the sun hasn't quite moved over to its best spot for this farfugium. It gets a little bit too much sun during the summer in this spot, but it is the most shaded spot that I have for the rest of the year. So that's why I stuck it there. It's not dying, but I mean, the poor thing gets sunburned and the leaves just don't look pretty. The new ones look good though. The grapevines are pushing growth. They should start to shed leaves really, really soon. But because we had a little bit of a attack on them, they were still pushing new growth in that process. So I have not put anything into this container yet. I would like to put my rutabagas and turnips in there. I don't need a whole lot of rutabagas. I don't eat them. I'm growing them for my mom, and she really only needs 1 or 2. And then the turnips, like I said, we'll mostly eat the greens, but I do want to have a couple of the roots to go into the greens. So it's a tight container for rutabagas and turnips, but the way that I want to grow them, they should be fine in there. So it's still looking pretty decent over here. Oh, look, more blooms. I love it when I plant things years ago and they come back and they surprise me. I've not planted any Torrenia over here in a couple years, and these are just still coming back. So we'll let them do what they do. All right. I still have not cut any of this mesclun for the guineas. Might end up cutting it for us for a salad, because I just bought the guineas some new salad from the store. Now let's see if I can move I wasn't able to fold up the cart because I still have dirt in it. And you can see how wet this dirt was. This is the dirt that I rehydrated, and I added some new dirt to it to put the brassicas in. I'm going to peek in. If there's anything still alive, I will show you guys. If not, I'm not coming in here. So they didn't all die. In fact, looks like they are all still alive after being put in this really soggy soil. And it's still nice and moist, so I don't need to water it. Looks like this one's probably not going to make it. It was pretty puny when I put it in there anyway. I don't think that one had but one true leaf. And I put a couple of collards in here. Ignore those tags. If you can see the words on those tags, they are all lies. I just have those in there to hold the hose down in that serpentine shape. That's not what's in here. I definitely don't have any coleus and sage growing in here, or French flower growing in here. This is a orchid that was on its last leg, and I stuck it outside and it got rained on, and it's been doing good. So now it's just staying out here. Sometimes to save my plants, I have to throw them out to fend for themselves until they rebound. Let's see if I can get my screen to close. Come on, screen. I need you to work. Let's dump this water. Since I haven't gotten the lettuces back out here yet, I don't want mosquitoes hanging out there. I'm gonna push this back so that my door won't fall off if it gets too windy. One day I'm gonna spend the money on a good greenhouse, but for now, this little rickety kit has been serving its purpose for me. We got some more blooms here on the portulaca. And these portulaca actually are self-seeded from ones I bought at either Lowe's or Home Depot. Just kind of stuck them here. They died all the way back and self-seeded. So buttonwood is still okay. There's the passion vine, still doing okay after transplanting. I flooded that pot the other day, so it should be good for a few days. I still have not gotten out here to trim the Eugenia. This Eugenia was a clearance buy at Home Depot. When I tell you this thing was near death, the lady at the register looked at me like I was an absolute fool when I brought it up there and bought it. But it's fine. It just needed somebody to love it. All right, the pentas here. This is probably going to be the last year for these pentas. I'll probably pull them out. They've been here for a little while. I'm getting ready to walk through a little river because I turned on my soaker hose to saturate this ground over here. Flowers over here are looking okay. This is still looking good. I spent a lot of time over here in the last 2 weeks, so it's not looking bad. This bird of paradise is in the absolute worst spot ever. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not moving it. I'll just keep cutting leaves off of it. The flowers in the containers are doing okay. We got the bees hanging out over here, enjoying the flowers. I'm enjoying the breeze. This is an extra long Tuesday tally. I'm not really sure why it's so long. I think I'm just really enjoying the breeze. I'm going to turn off the soaker hose now. I need to do it fast because I need to replace this darn pressure valve. I'm going to get soaked. I'm going to turn this thing off. Really? You're not going to soak me today? Look at you go. I talk bad about you and you don't even soak me. They're still going to replace it. All right. We moved some. I don't remember the name of this thing. It's a succulent. I don't remember the name of it, but I moved it. And it's been living here for a couple days now. We got some peppers put into the first bed. We got some garlic coming up in the second bed. We still haven't planted anything in the third raised bed. The carrots are starting to come up. Finally. Now remember, I did each little quadrant. So some are coming up and some aren't. The ones that are getting a little bit more sun are coming up better. What did I put in here? I think I put garlic in here. I'm not sure. I think it's garlic in there. We'll find out in another week or so. It should start pushing up. I just cleaned this bird bath water and it is got leaves in it already. I went ahead and I took out the Texas sage, and I need to pull weeds again down there. Got a butterfly and a dragonfly bothering me. I don't know if they'll get on camera. We'll see if they're shy. I'm gonna squeeze through here and show you the entry bed. I just put a ton of mums and some blue days in there and some kale, a red kale. I just wanted to do something different up here, so I pulled out all of the succulents that were up here. And some of them are still around. That's a foxglove that I started from seed, and I'm hoping that it actually makes it. The succulents are still around. They're just moved around a bit. Some of them got thrown out. Got a rose here. This is the Rio Samba rose. I cut this guy back and he's pushing new growth. He's looking good. A ponytail palm that's been in that pot for over 10 years. Still doing pretty good. Uh-oh. Chewy's not happy. Chewy's not happy. Got some annuals put in just to add a little bit of color up here because I was tired of looking at the mulch. So those will hold the spot for a little while. And I'm hoping this Alternanthera bounces back. I'm not sure if it will. I may have to snatch it out and put a new one. I mean, this one looks much better. This one, I didn't even have to cut it back because it didn't get any damage from the hurricane. It was protected by the bougainvillea, which is quite a beast on its own. And then the pots over here doing pretty good. I got more garlic in here, some more of the smaller cloves, so hopefully they do well. I just didn't want to waste any of them, and I didn't want to eat them. I'd like to put some Supertunias here just to fill in this space between the miniature roses. It's like we've got one miniature rose here that's been cut way back because it was traumatized, and then we got a miniature rose here that's doing okay, and then the yellow miniature rose is actually and doing okay. So I don't know. Clerodendron's going back good. That's the blue butterfly's clerodendron that I had to cut all the way back from like 5 feet tall. The hurricane was not nice to some of my plants. So that is it. Gosh, you can't see me. That is it for this week's Tuesday tally. I will be out of town at the end of this week and back in town. So everything that I'm trying to get posted has been pre-recorded, and some of them might actually be out of order because I'm fighting with my online software for editing. We'll see what happens. But thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.